Look, things change.
Anyone with a
Yeah,
camera and
so
a computer
clearly
can
now
do
they know we
it.
should pay attention
What's
to
the
where
user
they are.
value?
We evolve.
Your first book, Blackwater, was an award-winning New York Times bestseller, and your new book, Dirty Wars, has also been highly praised. For the authors in our audience, what have you learned from writing these two books and going through the publishing process?
You know, it's funny, I never imagined myself as someone who would write a book. I started working at The Nation magazine in 2005, and the first story that I did for them was to go down to New Orleans to cover the aftermath of the flooding of the city during Hurricane Katrina. And I met these Blackwater guys on my second or third day there. These were these big, huge mercenaries that had been in Iraq and Afghanistan, and I was sort of jolted to see them on the streets of a U.S. city, and I started traveling around with them a bit, and became obsessed with the company and started writing articles about them. And I did probably a half a dozen or so articles about Blackwater. And the editor of The Nation magazine, Katrina Vanden Heuvel, sat me down one day, and I just sort of started there. And she said, look, we love your reporting, but we are a small, poor weekly magazine. We can't do a story every week about the same company. So you either need to get a different beat or write a book about it. The Nation has a publishing wing called Nation Books, and I went out to a dive bar one night with the editor. I didn't have an agent or anything, with the editor of Nation Books, and he signed me to write a book for basically nothing. The mistake a lot of first-time authors can make, especially if you have a book that does well, is you have a lot of people come out of the woodwork and they want to offer you big money to write another book, and they'll say, oh, it doesn't matter what the book is, just sign on the dotted line. And I think that if you are going to write a book that's sincere or resonates with people or means something, it's because it's real, because it comes from within you. And so I didn't commit to write a book until I really felt like I had a book in me.
The newest book, Dirty Wars, was also made into a documentary that you co-wrote and produced. Can you tell us a little bit more about the process?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that it's that the book was made into a documentary, because it was sort of unusual what happened. Rick Rowley, who's the director of the film, has been a friend of mine for a long time, and he and I have worked in war zones together. And he's like a combat filmmaker. He's done 20 or 30 short films for Al Jazeera and worked for BBC and CNN. We decided to go to Afghanistan together, but we weren't sure that we were going to do a film. And we started investigating a series of U.S. night raids, sort of looking at the idea of a war within the war. Well, Keith, greetings from Kabul, Afghanistan. And we realized when we were there that we were going to end up making a film when we stumbled into one night raid that had been committed by the most elite U.S. military force, the Joint Special Operations Command. And we realized that the president's small private army, the president of the United States' small private army, was responsible for kicking down the doors on this family in Gardez, Afghanistan, and killing 3 women, 2 of whom were pregnant, and a senior Afghan police commander, and then digging the bullets out of the bodies of the women and covering it up. We knew we had a film. You saw the U.S. forces take the bullets out of the body? And the reason I said it's not that the book wasn't turned into a film is because what the film is really a documentary about an investigation. And the investigation ended up becoming a book and a film, but they have their own lives.